question for you. Are you ready to party? All right, we're ready. We're ready. Let's throw it back Thursday. This has been a week. Sure has, hasn't it? Sure has, hasn't it? Orange cream soda. It's Orange Dream, but it tastes like a dreamsicle. Yeah. 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 Need to get my hands on the cream soda and root beer of those. Yeah, Casey got me the variety pack. So it's got the root beer, the cream soda, and the orange cream. They sell a 24 pack for like $20 at the hardware store, and every time I'm there, I want to get it. Every time I'm there, I'm thinking about getting it. I'm not into orange cream. It's not really my thing either, but the soda's okay. It's definitely drinkable. Definitely drinkable. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back. How are you doing today? Ever try the Coke orange cream flavor? I think I'm a Coca-Cola purist. I don't know if there's any flavor to add to Coca-Cola that I would identify as being superior to regular Coca-Cola. Still breathing, so I guess that's something. Not only is that something, but you'll be breathing throughout all of the highs and lows of your life, so it's like a constant companion. I need help getting through today. I know it's a tough day, but it's been 24 years. It's been 24 years, you know. It's all right. I forgot about that. And you promised you'd never forget. You promised you'd never forget. Like, what are you talking about? You promised you'd never forget. Only took 25 years, but it happened. Are they going to blame trans people for this one? We know they're going to. They really are giving trans people a lot of credit for a lot of stuff that they're not doing. Isn't that crazy? Considering that trans people make up about 1% of the population, you're giving them a lot of, you know... Jesus Christ. As if it wasn't clear enough exactly what they're doing when they do that kind of shit. They've been doing the same shit for thousands of years. Now let's blame an outlier group. Let's blame a small population. Let's blame a minority group. Been doing that shit forever. I don't know if I could even say I've ever been proud of this country. You know? I think we had a good idea. Let people do what they want to do. Let people say what they want to say. You know, the importance of civil liberties and all that. Of course, we've been trying to iron out the details for 250 years. And I think that's why it's important to find pride in your community. It's important to find pride in your local community, because when you get too many people involved, that complicates things. A country is a lot of people, and you're going to have a lot of people within that population that go completely against whatever it is that you believe. That's just how numbers work. Anyway. I am Casey Tron Bodyguard. That's actually my job. So it's surprising that we haven't met before, since that's what I do. Anyway, throughout all of this political turmoil, I found it's been nice to hang out more with my neighbors and share our frustrations. You know, that more than anything has given me the sense of community that I've been looking for. And I don't think that you should look for a sense of community on a national level. I just don't know if that's possible. Anyway. You feel me? Yeah, the way I feel today is like, yep, a conservative news commentator known for his inflammatory statements, his racist beliefs, was shot and killed at a university. Of course, people immediately go into blaming the left, even though they know absolutely nothing about the guy who actually shot him, which is par for the course. It happens every time somebody gets shot. They're always waiting to blame somebody on the opposite side, because that's just what we're primed for. That's just where the 24/7 news cycle has taken us. This in-group, out-group bullshit. Anyway, it would be nice to return to a sense of sanity on the national level. We'll see what happens. Planet am I on? I wouldn't call this a planet. It's not that big. Gotta be pretty big to be a planet. It's more of an asteroid. It's more of a big chunk of rock. Feels like we've been in the upside down for about a decade now, sadly. Yeah, things have been very weird and getting progressively weirder ever since 2016, but if you think about it, things have always been weird. We were just kind of deluding ourselves. Are we on an asteroid? I think so. I've never been around to the other side. It's scary down there. I don't want to fall off. You'll notice there will be a stream of glazing the fascist who died from even the liberal media outlets. Yeah, because even the liberal media outlets in the United States are still, like, pretty to the right. The furthest left you will see are in places like live streaming news outlets. You know, people who actually just report on their own and they don't have, you know, a corporate backing. The fact that they're turning him into a martyr almost makes you feel like, I don't know, maybe it was an inside job. Maybe they just wanted even more things to discredit the political left, and so they clapped one of their own. I don't know. I'm thinking conspiratorially. I mean, didn't he say that he was afraid that somebody was going to kill him? Somebody on his own side? Yeah, don't forget that a Democratic politician and their family, their dog, were murdered in their home. And you didn't really... that happened a few weeks ago. Still, yeah. Which just really shows you where the backing for the media really lies. The fact that we'll, you know, who it is that will really mourn instead of, you know, the children that are getting shot in school. That kind of stuff. To be a sick individual to hurt someone, but a really demented fuck to hurt an animal. Oh yeah, kind of like how Kristi Noem shot her dog. I scam, I cannot sub. Can somebody else subscribe just to show them how it's done and to prove that I'm not a scammer? Can anybody subscribe to clear my name? I'm broke AF? I don't know, it's starting to sound like projection. I'm such a genius, and a stable one at that. Sir Tylius with the 10 gifted subs. See, it does work. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Credit to Casey. Credit to Casey and credit to Allah the One True. Bismillah. Thank you for the 10 subs, Habibi. Think they're gonna bring in those Etsy witches? Maybe they'll, you know, who knows? Maybe keep an eye on those Etsy witches. We want to make sure that they don't get sent to El Salvador. You gotta watch out. You want to put some witches. The hell is an Etsy witch? It's exactly what it sounds like. Go on Etsy and you find a witch and then you pay them to do witchcraft. People do that? no, we're making it all up just to mess with you. All right. We've got a few questions in the box. The hat is on. Let's get into it. I'm tired of talking about politics. Politics piss me off. I don't know about you, but I'm pissed with politics. I'm ready to take a break. Like, as disappointed as I might be in how people are responding to it, I can't say that it's anything other than exactly what I expected. Seeing as, you know, this is the 46th shooting, mass shooting, this year, you know, it's stuff that we've seen far too often and far too commonplace. And we've seen how they've responded to it every single time, and it just makes you feel frustrated because it feels like, is anything going to change? Maybe. Anyway, for me, it's really important. It's really reinforced the importance of building a sense of community locally with your neighbors and the people that you share a space with. Because if shit really does hit the fan, those are going to be the people that you're going to need to turn to. And you want to know them and you want to be friends with them. You don't want to be strangers with them when shit hits the fan. Mind if I restream you from time to time on my stream with my own added content? Thanks either way. Love the stream, by the way. Just don't do it while I'm streaming. Don't free broadcast me live. You can watch my videos and react to them. Anyway, I'll just keep my fingers crossed and hope that maybe now people will finally care about gun control. Anyway, enough of that. Let me... Got some questions in the box. Let's get to it. My dad is a compulsive liar. My dad is a compulsive liar. I once heard him tell someone I was deathly ill when I was literally sitting right next to him perfectly fine. He committed insurance fraud by reporting items stolen that weren't. As a result, I am deeply sensitive about being perceived as untruthful or deceptive. When he tells me I'm lying when I'm not, or that I'm deliberately trying to sabotage... Okay, first off, why would you take him as a valid critic of who you are as a person? What grounds does he have to criticize you on being honest or dishonest? And so, regardless of the fact that he's your dad, just consider him as some other person. Some person that you've known to be chronically misleading and untruthful. Why would you treat what they say as valid or even worth considering? Now, it makes sense why you would, because it's your dad, and, you know, we like to think that our parents would be honest with us, and, you know, but you have to consider the source here. When he tells me I'm lying when I'm not, or that I'm deliberately trying to sabotage his life when I'm not, it just makes me irrationally angry. But no matter how much I try to explain myself, he never listens. In these cases, do you think it's a good idea to keep trying to defend myself and risk angering him, or just give it up for the sake of my sanity? Yeah, there's a game that he's trying to play, and I would suggest just not playing it. He's literally just accusing you of all of the stuff that he's doing. He's using you as an emotional punching bag. And so just remember this. When he's talking about you, he's actually talking about himself. And so when he says you're trying to sabotage his life, that sounds more like what he's doing, doesn't it? Committing insurance fraud? Telling people that his children are deathly ill? And so it sounds like all of the things that he's accusing you of are actually things that he's doing. That's why he's able to point them out. That's why he's able to know what they are and know what to mention. It's because he knows it very well. He's putting it onto you so that he doesn't have to work on himself, and that's not fair for either of you. It's understandable why you would get angry and frustrated when people make these types of accusations of you, because nobody likes to be accused of being this type of person. Doesn't feel good. And so, he's not looking for you to explain yourself. He's not looking for you to change his mind about what he's saying about you, because that's not why he's saying it. He's not telling you that you're a liar and that you're trying to sabotage him because he actually believes it. He's doing it because it helps him to feel better about what he's doing. That's why. He's using you as an emotional punching bag. And so maybe you could point that out. Maybe you could point out the unfair dynamic. Maybe you could call him out on these behaviors. He may or may not be receptive to it. But as far as trying to defend yourself and trying to, that's not gonna work, because that's not why he does it. He doesn't make these accusations because... Anyway, protect your peace, protect your sanity. Getting into these types of arguments and discussions with people who aren't grounded in reality, that's a very sure way to make you feel insane. Anyway, I would just try to be cool and calm when you talk to him, because he expects you to get angry. He expects to have an emotional reaction out of you. That's how he knows that what he's doing is working. And so don't give him that. If he wants to come to you and accuse you of stuff, just ask him questions. What makes you say that? Why would you think of such a thing? He might be making serious accusations about your character, but that doesn't mean that you have to take him seriously. Also, actions speak louder than words when it comes to this stuff, so I wouldn't worry about people taking his word over yours. Just continue to be a kind, honest person, and you've got nothing to worry about. And it'll be pretty clear who is actually the untruthful one. Can you imagine accusing somebody else of trying to sabotage your life when you're the one committing insurance fraud?
Who forgot to reincarnate on
Anyway, just in general, when people want to come at you and they want to come at you angry, don't play the game. They're looking for you to get angry too, because then they feel valid in being angry. But if you stay calm, then pretty soon they'll feel silly for feeling so angry, especially when you're so calm. Hello, Mr. Domain. Stream has come at a good time. I'm in a bit of a state. My mom and pop left this morning so she could get some easy surgery done about 7 hours ago. I can't help but be worried this entire time though, and I don't dare reach out because if I don't get a response, I'll be spooked. How can I chill out? How would it feel if everything went well? How would it feel if you got a call or a message from your parents and said everything went great? Doing okay? How would it feel if you got good news? And I'm asking this because we want to remind ourselves that when we're in a situation, more than just the worst case scenario can happen. Also important to remind ourselves that we can have good outcomes and positive things can happen. But you know how the brain likes to fixate on the negative, doesn't it? If you try to reach out and you don't get a response, that's more of a sign that they're just busy or that they just didn't get your call than if something actually serious happened. If something actually serious happened, wouldn't they have reached out to you already? I'm the smartest non-robot on ETH. I believe you. Anyway, there's a quick solution to this. Just give one of your parents a call. Just give them a call, and if they don't answer, that's okay. They're probably just busy, and they'll get back to you. Maybe they will answer and they'll be able to give you an update. Oh, hey, yep, everything's fine. Because not reaching out, you're just going to be sitting there worried. But if you do reach out, you run the chance of finding relief. So I think that's a good opportunity to take. I think that's a good choice to make. You know, because if you call and nobody answers, then, you know, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. It's not like they would ignore your call because something terrible happened. That's not, I don't think that's really how it would play out. My hospital has bad cell reception. That too. They might be inside of a big building, and sometimes when you're inside of a big building, the cell reception just isn't that good. So there are plenty of totally understandable reasons why they might not answer your call if you were to try to reach out. It doesn't mean that the worst case scenario has happened. As scary as it might be, I think at least trying to reach out would help you to feel better. Because then at least they know that you're trying to get a hold of them. And so they'll probably reach out to you as soon as they can once they notice that you've reached out to them, if they weren't to respond. Anyway, you said it was an easy surgery, so I'm assuming it was just something relatively minor and routine, so I'm assuming that everything went just fine. Well, you'll have to let us know, because now we're all wondering. We're all wondering, so you're going to have to give them a call and see what the situation is. Now we're all wondering, we're all wanting an update. I don't know about you, but I've got a weird feeling today. Where's our squirrel friend? He's off in the woods, doing squirrel stuff. Am I good? I'm good. I'm good. like I said, just a weird feeling. Just a weird feeling that I can't really quite place. I seem distracted. Yeah, that's accurate. I'm gonna take a cat break. We're all caught up in the question box for now. We'll get back to it here in just a minute. I got things to do today. Godspeed, brother. Looks like baby beaver. Cat in the room with me? Yeah. Miss Poopy's in here. She's up in her cat tower. Work early. Just trying to figure out what my deal is. Like, all things considered, I feel pretty good. But there's just something that I can't quite put my finger on. Was it that video that I saw of that guy getting clapped? That might have something to do with it. Yep, close one was brutal. Yeah, if you're sensitive to those types of things, I would highly encourage you to not watch it. But yeah, if you saw the up close video, it was very clear, like, oh, yeah, that's fatal. That's... Either way, it just really sucks that this is where we're at politically, doesn't it? Like, it's 2025. I thought we'd be living in the future, and then this is what we're dealing with. Kinda sucks. From a mental point of view, is it a problem that I've become really desensitized to gore and death? That depends. That depends. Becoming desensitized to the idea of death is arguably good for you. It can make you, less fearful, less anxious. It can make you, actually enjoy life more, take it more meaningfully. But I think, you can become desensitized to those types of images, but I think that you should still act with compassion and care to prevent people from dying needlessly. I'm finding myself full of hatred for stupidity, and considering my family is made up of a bunch of far-right wingers. Stupidity is something I have to endure a lot of. I'm very frustrated, and I don't know how much more I can hold back on them. I want to tell them to their faces that they're stupid and just plain inherently bad people. Of course, that won't do anything to fix them or change them. All it will do is make them think I am possessed by a demon for being a woman who expresses her thoughts and opinions in a satanic way, aka speaking in a way that seems angry and not mild-tempered, or whatever. Ugh, they suck ass. OMG. I genuinely don't think I have love for them in my heart anymore. Maybe loving them from a distance is a safer option. You know, like a dangerous animal, like a tiger. It's like you can love it from a distance through binoculars or in pictures. But you don't want to share a house with the tiger. But yeah, I agree that coming at them angry would likely do the opposite of what you would intend it to do. Realistically, one of the best ways to change people's minds in this situation, and it's important to remember that this is a long, often drawn out process of changing someone's mind. You have to ask them questions, and you have to hear them out, and you have to listen to what they think, and you have to explore their beliefs with them in a way that they've never really done before, so that they can get to the conclusion on their own. And so if that's something that you're willing to do, Godspeed. I wish the best for you. If that's something that you don't feel up to doing because they really just suck, I don't blame you for not doing it. Ask them what they think. Are they thinking? Not too hard. People tend to fall into these types of mindsets because they live in a world that is centered all around fear. You know, they believe that the world is a scary, dangerous place and that the only way to stay safe is to cling to these beliefs that they hold. I say that, but for whatever reason, when I had a dream the other night where I died, my last words to the world were, "I love you," which is weird AF because I cannot find the love inside of me for much lately. But it's still there. It came out. It came out when your walls came down when you were dreaming, so it's in there. Oh, it's in there all right. The world just seems so bad and constantly getting worse. Then it sounds like the world needs more love, doesn't it? So what can we do if the world needs more love? What can we do as an individual to bump that number up? I hate crowds. I love people. Show compassion to those who deserve it and need it. I feel like everyone deserves compassion, but I feel like what that compassion looks like just depends on who you're dealing with. In this case, my version of compassion would be, I'm gonna leave you alone. Because if I'm gonna be around, I'm gonna get angry with you and I'm gonna wanna yell at you and be mean to you, and that would not be very compassionate of me. And so, my version of compassion for this type of person is, I'm gonna leave you alone. Have fun with whatever it is that you're doing. That is my version of compassion for them. Doesn't mean I have to send them a Christmas card. It doesn't mean I have to invite them over for dinner. Sometimes compassion just looks like, all right, well, good luck with that. Hope things work out for you. Also, don't forget to show your self-compassion. You know, if you're having to tolerate a bunch of BS, it's okay to be like, you know what? I don't really want to do any of this. I don't really, this is driving me insane. This is really burning me out. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to protect your peace. But I feel rude walking away, but you're being rude to yourself by staying. I guess. Whose feelings are you prioritizing? Someone else's or your own? People pleaser mentality, I need to get over it. Well, good news, Goobins. You're people too. So when is it your turn? But it's easier said than done, and it's easier done than imagined. Because whenever it only exists in your mind, it might feel way more difficult. It might feel way more impossible. We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. So yes, it's easier said than done, but it's also easier done than it is imagined. I would be willing to bet, and I'm not a betting man, I hate to gamble, but I would be willing to bet that whenever you finally do whenever you do protect your peace and do what you need to do, you might find yourself asking yourself, that was easier than I thought it was. Why didn't I do that sooner? Would it surprise you that I've heard that a lot in working with people in this field? I wish I had done it sooner. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. I've heard that a lot. Just need to practice it. You've been practicing it. Just keep up the good work. Just keep heading in that direction. What you'll find is that pushing through a little bit of discomfort can lead you to a whole lot of comfort on the other side. It's like, imagine that you're sitting there and you're shivering, you're freezing cold, you're just sitting there and it's just unbearable. Would it be uncomfortable to get up out of the chair and walk across the room and go find a blanket and then go and sit back down in your seat? Sure, it would be a little bit uncomfortable to do that. But by pushing through that discomfort, you have attained more comfort. You can now sit there more comfortably and snug in your little blankie. Do you have any recommendation to help with throwing away the phone on the bed and walking away from it and forgetting about it? Any recommendation on how to do that more? Or how to... Because that's what I like to do. I like to do that. I like to just throw my phone on the bed and then just walk away. Like, all right, enough with you, demon rectangle. I don't need a doom scroll anymore. How to do it more? Have something in mind that you're going to do, like go for a little walk, or make dinner, or do the dishes, or whatever. And then just treat it as, you know, all right, don't need that for the next, 20, 30 minutes. I would also encourage everybody to spend some time in nature where there just isn't cell service. It's very freeing. Because what you'll notice is that you feel this intense obligation to be near your phone, or to always have your phone on you, to always be reachable, or to always be able to check, hey, I need to Google something, or hey, I want to see what's going on social media. There's this connection that we have with these devices, and when we take that away, it helps us to feel a little bit more human again. For when you're stuck inside, download Focus Friend and you get rewarded not touching your phone. Oh yeah, didn't Hank Green make that app? There's this app called Focus Friend, and you put in a time for your focus friend, and then you're not allowed to touch your phone for the duration of that timer, and if you do, it interrupts whatever your focus friend is trying to do.
I would like to tell you about the best idea I have ever had. It's an app that installs a bean on your phone. It is currently more popular than Google. The bean that you put on your phone really wants to spend more time knitting. And so you can give it an amount of time that it can spend knitting, but you can't touch your phone while it's knitting. And if you do, it'll drop its stitches and be sad. My bean is a cat. It's named Gummy Bean after my cat, Gummy Bear. But if you let it knit, it will make socks and scarves, and then you can trade socks and scarves in for furniture for the bean's room. It's called Focus Friend. You don't have to make an account, there are no ads, we don't collect any data, and it's free. And obviously you want this. I would like to tell you about the best idea I have ever had.
Doesn't that sound cute? It's a nice little way to help, disconnect from your phone a bit. But I don't think I'd keep up with it. Why are you... At least try. We don't have to write the ending of our story already. We're still only on whatever chapter this is. We're not even We're not even in the last, quarter of the book yet, so. That's a good idea. I'm gonna download it. Then you can post your screenshots in the Discord. Christina, thank you for the bits, by the way. Thank you. Maybe I'll download it, I don't know. What I think you'll come to find is that as you grow in confidence, you will also grow in decisiveness. Fewer maybes, fewer I guess, just whenever something pops up and it sounds like, hey, that's something that I might like. You know what? I'll give it a try. I don't need to talk myself out of it. You can tell I'm not confident. Not as confident as you will be. You're working on it. I've come to find out many of my coworkers are conservative due to them expressing sympathy and respect for Charlie Kirk. It does feel strange, especially considering that, there was a shooting at a high school the same day. That people are just very focused on him. Like, any gun death is a tragedy, but it feels strange that they focus on one and not the other. Anyway. I'm not a very confrontational person, but I hate nodding along and being like, oh wow, when they are ranting about the state of the world and how awful both sides are. I'm not sure how to navigate these conversations because I don't want it to become an argument, but I also don't want them to think I agree with them. Any suggestions? Just in general, work is not a great place to get into heated political discussions. Especially if you're there to, do a job and make money. And I think that there are ways of validating what a person is saying. Like, I can validate your viewpoints without expressly, agreeing with them. Saying things like, well, it is what it is. That's my go-to. When everybody says some weird shit and I'm not, about to fight you over it, I'm just gonna leave that alone and walk away. I'm normally like, well, it is what it is. Es ist, was es ist. I do hate it is what it is, though. You hate getting it is what it is. You hate when people do it to you because that makes it feel like they're just kind of dismissing and moving on from whatever you're talking about, which is exactly what you're trying to do in this situation, and so it's okay to do it. You're trying to say, okay, anyway, back to it then. Sometimes I'll just go, Anyway. I don't necessarily think expressing sympathy for a dead person implies conservatism, and I don't think it does either, because I don't think that anybody who goes out and, is speaking publicly should be afraid of getting shot. That's just crazy to me. But it just does feel weird that there are so many people, like, rushing to show sympathy and support when it's like, there was literally a shooting at a high school the same day. But it didn't really get reported on because we're all focused on this guy that got shot. Anyway, I think our priorities are just kind of fucked up in general as far as the media goes. As fucked up as it is, the people who run the news networks, they understand that just reporting on another school shooting is almost, even though it happened today, it happens so fucking often in this country that it's like, and I'm not saying that, I'm like, it's a fucking tragedy, but we just treat it like it's an everyday occurrence. And so the fact that we're instead fixating on this political commentator that got murdered, it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Anyway, I feel like a lot of people were talking about it because it has just been mainstream news. It's all over the place, and so people feel compelled to weigh in on that. And I feel like people would rather come from a place of at least appearing humane and sympathetic and being like, oh yeah, that sucks that happened. Even though, there's an entire political aspect to it. The Yankees baseball team also had a moment of silence for him, but not the kids. Blows my fucking mind. I am just absolutely gobsmacked. I don't know. Hopefully this just helps people to realize, the nature of things. Hopefully this just opens up more conversations about how desensitized people have become to mass shootings. Okay, I'm looking at this question in the box and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. At what point in Hitler's life or any of his followers did they cross from doesn't deserve to be redacted into needs to be redacted for the benefit of humanity? What? This type of redaction is dangerous to do. It's the same type of stuff that they're pulling in the United States, where they're making slavery look like it wasn't that big of a deal. It's that kind of shit. It's like, we don't want to look back and feel bad about stuff that's happened, so we need to, redact it from history so that people, not educating people about this stuff, it can doom people to repeat it. The people who argue to redact it so that people don't learn about it, so it's not like people aren't gonna still want to do that type of stuff. And in fact, barring them from that information makes it feel forbidden, and therefore it feels, oh, what are they trying to hide? Why don't they want us to read about this? Why don't they want us to find out about this? So, anyway, I don't think that redacting this type of stuff serves the benefit of humanity, because if anything, it just lets it happen more. But I'm not sure. Hopefully that's what you were asking. But yeah, I think that redacting stuff from history is dangerous. I think redacted is just a stand-in word for assassinated. Well, then use the real word if that's the question you're wanting. If that's what they're asking, then I need those words. But if you're gonna just use the word redacted, I'm gonna take it literally. Is this just TikTok lingo? Is this sewer slide? I can't stand that nonsense, if I'm being honest. I can't. I'm just like, grow the fuck up. Just like baby-proofing these words doesn't do anything. Say that to not get censored. Yeah, because those types of words get censored by the algorithm, and then your content can't get all the views that it wants. Girlfriend and I just broke up. I wasn't meeting her needs, and she was too patient and let me cross boundaries too often, keeping tidy, hygiene, addiction, etc. She was repressing a lot of stuff, and she's really patient, and so she ended up resenting me. I've been struggling with addiction and have been letting a lot of aspects of my life get out of hand, and she deserves so much better than me. But I am incredibly resolute on becoming the partner that she deserves, and she said that she is open to trying again in the future, but she needs a significant break before trying again. We were long distance for a year at the beginning of our relationship, and then I moved across the country to be with her. I don't know what to do. I'm so far from my friends and family, and I feel so lost, and I want to prove to her that I can be strong and that I can work on the things. but it's been really hard for me to go through the motions of daily life. We love each other a lot still, but she deserves better. Also, both of us have been dating people pretty much consistently since freshman year of high school. I don't want to work on myself for her. I want to work on myself for myself. But I don't know how to do that alone. I've been putting love into others for so long. I'm so proud of her for bringing all of these things up to me and for having the self-respect to do something so difficult, even though she knew it was going to make me feel sad. I love her with all my heart and still think we're soulmates if the universe allows. I don't know how to move forward. All right, well, I think you know what needs to be done. I think you know what you need to do. You know, you told me at the beginning here what some of the issues were. And so what needs to change in order to allow those things to improve? It sounds like you're in a place where you're going to have to ask yourself some hard questions because this is serious time. And so I need to look inwards and I need to figure out what I need to do so that things can be better. When it comes to getting better and improving, you know, kind of like what you were talking about, like moving forward, we do that one step at a time. And so it can feel overwhelming, or it can feel like this is impossible when we think about all of the things that we need to do to get ourselves together. Just focus on that next step. What is your next step forward? You know, the fact that you want to get better is good, and I believe that you can do it. But it's going to be you that decides to take that next step forward. We can give you ideas on what that might be. We could offer suggestions or guidance. We could help to light the way. But at the end of the day, it'll have to be you that takes that step. Growth isn't always fun. Growth can be uncomfortable. Growth can hurt. Growth can mean taking a deep look inwards at things about ourselves that we're not especially comfortable with. But there's a reason why we do it. So that we can become our best self. And that's what you're in the process of doing. And so it's not always going to be fun, but there will be times where it will be tolerable. There will be times where it will be okay. Start with the small things, the things that you could do today, even if it's just opening up to a new perspective. Even if it's just stepping out of an old habit. Something that you could do today. It's a step in the right direction. The good news is that your fire is burning, and your fire is burning pretty warmly, so that's good. That gives you a high amount of motivation and potential for making some positive change. You know, I've seen people in similar situations where they want to give up, or they feel like everything's pointless, or they feel like, why bother? You know, and that can be a bit more difficult because it can take a lot more effort and energy to build up that momentum from such a stationary place. And so it sounds like you've got the desire to change. You want to improve, you want to do better. Figure out what that next step is. And then the next one. And then the next one. Don't worry about all the work that needs to be done, just worry about the step that's right in front of you. That way you don't trip. I do feel like giving up, and I'm resolute at the same time. My brain is so confused. Would it make you feel less confused if I told you that it's normal for a brain to do that? Our brains are always trying to figure out what is it that we actually believe. Do I like myself? Do I hate myself? Am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Should I keep going? Should I give up? So just think about which of those dogs you want to feed. If there's a part of you that wants to give up and there's a part of you that wants to keep going, which of those parts would you like to listen to? It's a confusing place to be when you've got those two conflicting sides going at it in your mind. The way through that is to pick one. And I would say to pick the one that says to keep going and to not give up. That's the part of you that you want to listen to a bit more closely. I've already gone sober and have been ever since, but now the emotions cut deeper, I feel. I think that sounds like it's giving you some insight into why you were using, right? It might have been to numb the emotions. It's an important realization to make in the recovery game, you know? I'm doing this in order to cope with my emotions, but in reality, they're just allowing my emotions to fester. I'm just numbing them and delaying them, and it might be nice to, you know, if you're working through being sober, it might be nice to feel a sense of support and understanding from other people who are also in recovery. And so I always encourage people to seek out recovery groups or other resources, because while it is something that you can do on your own, it's not something that you should have to do on your own. You don't have anything to prove to your own ego that you have to do all of this on your own. Oh, okay. So this is what they meant by redacted. So you were right, that is what they meant. At what point in Hitler's life, or any of his followers, did they cross from doesn't deserve to be shot in the face into deserves to be shot in the face? Because according to modern American liberals, political violence is never tolerable and abhorrent in all cases. Which is ironic considering that America historically loves to do political violence. Just look at what we've done to South America. Look at what we've done, in leftist movements across the world. It's very convenient that people will decry political violence when it's something that's so ingrained in American history. I guess where I'm at on this issue is I would never condone violence. I would never want anyone to go out and do anything violent. But I can understand why people feel as if violence is their only option. I can understand why people feel that way. I guess that's my position. I can only speak for myself and what I choose to do, and I'm not a violent person. I condemn acts of violence. But I understand why people resort to it. Types are hypocritical and performative. Yeah, it's the get back to brunch crowd. It's the type that wanted to just return to the status quo, even though the status quo sucked because the status quo was okay for them. Also, just a reminder, did you remember when they started the 40-hour work week? Did they just give that to workers for free? Did they just say, hey workers, we love you so much, here's a 40-hour work week, here's a livable wage? No, they didn't. Like, people had to fight and die for the 40-hour work week. And so, an unfortunate fact of reality is that sometimes people have to fight for what they need, and I hate that that's the way that it is. I wish that it wasn't that way. Condone the violence necessary to remove Hitler from power in 1940s Germany? Yeah. But would you also agree that it's a shame that things had to get that far in the first place? How violence led into violence, which led into violence, which led into more violence. Can you give me an example from history in which violence led to peace? Oh, hello. The point I was trying to make is that violence always begets more violence. Trying to find peace through violent means is like trying to flatten a surface of water by jumping into it. Ward off doomerism when the world is on fire and everything seems hopeless. By reminding myself that they, whoever they is, they want me to feel that way, and I'm not going to give them what they want, so... I have shit life syndrome, and I've worked on accepting that capitalism really fucked me over and it's not a personal failure. Try to break free of this shit life syndrome mindset, because that's teetering on the edge of a self-fulfilling prophecy. But career changes or educational goals seem so useless and like a pie-in-the-sky dream. I'm also terrified of leaving my shitty job because I am uneducated and this is the best wage/benefits I can get with zero education. But I hate it and it is connected to the government and I am terrified of being laid off. As long as I stay in the moment, I am fine, but anytime I try to plan for the future, I go into an anxiety spiral. Well, it sounds to me like you answered your own question. You gotta stay in the moment. That's where true peace exists, is in the moment that you are in it. I also don't know what I would do for a career besides all of my passions are jobs that are known for paying next to nothing, but I also feel like I'm going to explode if I stay here another year. Hobbies. What's the hobbies like? Hobbies? What are the hobbies like? You know, you work this job so that you can afford to live, because that's the rules under capitalism. You gotta find some way to finance yourself. And that's it. What are we doing on the downtime? Are we spending time with friends? Are we hanging out with loved ones? Are we engaging in hobbies? Are we pursuing our passions? Are we doing things that we want to do for no other reason than it's something that we want to do? What money for hobbies? What time for hobbies? How many hours do you work a day? The way that you're describing it makes you sound like you're working 16 hours a day for $3 an hour. Also, there are hobbies that you can do that are entirely free. Anyway, it might not be so much about the education level you have. You might be able to find other jobs that you like more just because of your work history. That might be able to open some doors for you. But I feel like for right now, you would be better served at looking at what am I doing in my off time? You know, am I taking the time that I need to rest and rejuvenate? And am I spending time with friends? Am I pursuing my hobbies and interests? You know, I've seen a lot of people get caught in the cycle of wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch TV, go to bed, wake up, go to work. You get caught in this loop, and it feels dissatisfying, and it makes you feel like, what am I doing here? What is all this about? There is no off time while doing a balancing act between homelessness and real life. And what are we doing right now? Does this count as downtime? Bottling up the overstimulation of having to physically be present in a place I don't want to be. And is that effort serving you in some way? Here comes the essay, because writing it down is helping me process. Alright, I'm in. Right. We're going in. A few weeks ago, I felt the most mentally healthy and safe I have probably ever. Reconnected with a past friend slash flirt, met through an ex, but we were always a better match than me and ex. Early 2020s, we had a few dates and one amazing evening and night and morning. We both got bad colds after. Worse for him due to long-term health issues. Then COVID news starts creeping in and lockdowns start. COVID would probably have ended him. We chatted daily for over a year. I helped him with some legal issues even. No physical contact. Slowly, the frustration set. Little arguments. We drifted apart. 2 weeks ago, we had a long chat turned date. His health is doing much better due to care advancements. He asks me if I'm seeing anyone. I say no, not since we did. Been too busy. Work, friends, and family unwell. And nobody I fancied enough. He tells me he's seeing someone in an open relationship, has been for a few years. He's not been seeing anyone else, but partner has. They're engaged to someone else and recently moved a significant ways away. Few hours by train, $60 for a return ticket. Which he's conflicted about. Talks about a hobby they share for a bit, about the hobby, not about them. I remind him he's gotta go. He asked if he could kiss me. Hell yeah. Just trying to see where this is all going. Last week we had a couple of dates at mine. Immaculate chemistry, still knows me so well. Last Wednesday, third over dinner, told him I'm off work a few weeks, invited him to Lil birthday party this Saturday, the 13th. Friends from group chat coming. He replies, yeah, definitely, smiling, looks excited. Chatting about another event in October, says he's wanted to go to it ages but couldn't get tickets. I know the organizer, I've got tickets. Thinks he's cat sitting for partner then. Long distance one? The one that moved a few hours away by train? The one that's engaged to somebody else? Just making sure I'm following. Later, while watching a movie, his phone kept going off. He looked annoyed, typing increasingly frantically. Halfway through the movie, I moisturize my hands and one of his. He gives me the other. When done, I say, "There you go, you can have them back." He hugs me closer, holding my hands through the rest of the movie, ignoring the buzzing phone. But he was quieter, less expressive. After the movie, I walk him halfway home. We part with a tight hug, me saying, "See you soon," him, "See you Sunday." We joke message about racing home. I win. I ask about a hobby he's been working on, a crafted prop model thing. Thursday, he sends me pics of it. I compliment it and ask a few questions, flirt a little, left unread. He's storying on Instagram, reading my messages in a group chat, but never talked much in there. Sunday afternoon, still left unread. I'm losing it, trying to stop myself ruminating over what I did wrong. I know I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, you didn't do anything wrong. It sounds like you got caught up with somebody who's... And I'm just gonna say that being entangled with someone in an open relationship who lives several hours away, who is engaged, and who expects you to cat sit for them, that sounds complicated. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. He messages, "Hey, sorry, I've been had a very busy weekend with partners here, and I had multiple hobby/work related things going on." I replied, "I figured, thanks for checking in." Sunday evening, go to the event with my bestie, who I told him is coming. He's worked on the event, a classic movie festival in our local area. This is the last night, one of my favorite movies. I don't spot him. I take a seat right up front, chatting away with bestie. He comes out to do the welcome and intro speech, joking that he's not seen this one. Stood less than 3 meters away from me. I've held a seat next to me, wave and indicate to come sit. Blanked. Walks the other way and the film starts. He's not read my reply from earlier. I message, "Come sit, up front, I got this." His favorite drink. Try to focus on the film screening, figuring maybe he didn't see me with the spotlight on him. I'm dressed half black and white stripes, half rainbow, and I have distinctively colored hair. I'm kind of difficult to miss. This person's starting to sound kind of dodgy. Movie's over, he does a thanks for coming speech, reminds people to donate. I wasn't particularly looking, straightening my outfit and checking my bag. He dashes off again. On the way out, I stop by the donation point. As I'm donating, spot him and partner stood a few meters behind the desk, I think both looking right at me, unsure, didn't have my glasses on. I look away and GTFO. Oh. What's the problem? I thought he was in an open relationship with this person from a few hours away that's engaged. This has evolved from being disorganized and conflict. This is starting to get a little messy. So he invited someone else to the thing that you invited him to, and then he ignored you while you were at the thing? You know, relationship dynamics or not, that's a shitty thing to do. Grab bestie and get away. Telling bestie that was him, the intro guy, and I think partner there. Bestie has gotta go, but asks if I'll go back. Abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm raging. The group chat, a gamer group we're both in, been busy. I'm catching up and saying, yeah, I'm on my way home. We'll join in then. Need to work off some rage. I say nothing about why. The rest of the group vibing with empathy, making a rage songs playlist for us to listen to later. I'm in the group chat daily. He's still checking all those messages, not looking at my come sit to him until Tuesday, and still not messaged me back. Does he think I've forgotten he's in the group chat? Like, what the actual fuck? And why? Like, yeah, he's probably that avoidant attachment or whatever. Regardless of what his attachment style is, this is still, shitty behavior. Both know about each other's traumas. But mostly, how do I stop this consuming my every thought? I've tried meditating, sleeping well, connecting with others, remembering I'm okay, I'm safe, and living well. I don't need him, I deserve better. The annoyance creeps back in. Trying not to take it personally, but this really, ugh. Is he okay? Why? What won't he tell me? This fucker, how dare he? Please help me focus back on myself, my peace. I'm dangerously behind on my prep plans for party Saturday. Just fucking pining for this idiot. This sucks. How do I stop having a crush and not let him do it again? I'm nobody's second. This guy's not worth the worry. Alright? This guy's not worth the worry. It sounds like you saw more of what could be in him than what there really was. You know, because you want to be understood, you want to be respected, you want to be valued in a relationship. And it sounds like what he did was dismissive and disrespectful and rude. And so what I would say is, it's good you found out now instead of a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. Sometimes the best thing a person can do is let you know very early what type of person they are. So there is some silver lining there. Thankfully, I found out that this guy was kind of shitty pretty early, instead of having to wait when we were even more entangled and we had, you know, joint bank account or something. Anyway, as much as it sucks to be misled and have somebody be dishonest with us, it's better for them to do it sooner rather than later. Right? Like, at least this happened after just a few dates, you know, like, we were starting to develop feelings, but it's not like we were in a long-term committed relationship, and I found out that, you know, you've been, you know, hiding all of this stuff or something like that. And so I think the reason why it's stuck in your mind is because it hurts and it's fresh. And so allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. You are valid in feeling frustrated and angry and whatever it is that this guy made you feel. It's okay to feel that. Anyway. Went to a concert for the first time by myself. I smoked and I realized some things about myself. care a lot about what I want people to think. For example, as I was out in this venue, and because I care about attention, I think about how my every movement can affect people's perception of me. I'm convinced that if I can act a certain way, then I can attract people. I even mimicked the way some guy danced a little, so maybe I can garner the same attention as if it were a bid in the attention space. Alright, so here's the thing. Humans do social learning. We learn how to act, how to talk, how to dance by watching other people do stuff. And so there's nothing wrong with that. Going out there and studying other people's moves and then learning those moves. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's nothing like going out is all about seeing and being seen. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to go out and look good. But it's when we care so much that it interferes with other aspects of our life that it becomes a problem. My problem is that I'm always overthinking about what to do rather than live in the moment. But the other thing is, when I'm alone, I just want to socialize, and I think moments are better when there's people around to enjoy them in. I just want to learn how to make my environment work for me. I know I could invite friends next time, but I really want to embark on this solo journey and see how I fare on my own. Any tips on how to socialize and or get past this my every move matters mindset? I'm even scared to look at my surroundings as I'm afraid to make eye contact with people. Alright, so you went to this concert, right? Can you remember what the 10 closest people were all wearing and what they were doing and what they looked like? Can you describe them in detail? What about 20? How many people were at this venue? Yes, I have good memory. Well, not everyone does, and so that was kind of intended as a gotcha question, but, you know, for those of you with freaky photographic memory, good for you. You should be a detective. My point was, people don't pay as close of attention to you as you think they do. Unless you're directly engaging with them in some way, they're probably just vaguely aware of your existence. Every move matters in its own way, but perhaps every move does not matter as much as we think it does. What sort of qualities of character do you want others to see within you? You know, if you care about what other people think about you, what do you want them to think about you? What do you want them to think about you? If you were to ask me, I feel like we often get hung up on what other people think about us because it helps us to think better things about ourselves. If other people like us, it helps us to like us. Sometimes, not always. External validation can feel nice, and it can be uplifting. But we need to be able to validate ourselves from within. The reason for that is, you never know what people actually think about you. In fact, you could do everything right and people could still find reasons to not like you. For no fault of your own. You could be kind and compassionate and patient and generous and they could resent you for all of that. You know, ooh, they just think they're so much better than me. Look at them walking around smiling. Ooh, I can't stand them. And so what are you gonna do? There are people out there who would be happy if you were miserable. So are you gonna focus on making them happy? Like, yeah, I guess I should be miserable because then it'll make these random strangers happy. No. I think the point of going out is enjoying yourself and having fun and meeting people and I think, you know, an important part of letting go of overthinking is catching yourself in the act and redirecting yourself in that moment. So when you catch yourself overthinking, what's something that you could do instead? Could we ground ourselves? Could we take some deep breaths? Could we focus on our physical sensations? You want to be able to go with the flow of things. Because when you're overthinking, that leads to trying too hard, and then people can tell when you're trying too hard, and then it comes across as disingenuous. And so, just be you, just let loose, and just have fun. Try not to overthink it. Baby Wolfie, thank you for the 17 months. My mind traffic cop is always busy. Give him the day off. Or just give him a donut. Like basically, you should work on like regulating your nervous system when you overthink. That's a good thing to do. That's a good way to respond to it. Because a deregulated nervous system can very quickly lead into a lot of overthinking, which can lead into anxiety, and it becomes a cycle and it fuels itself, remember? Hello again, Mr. Domain. Questioner from earlier, just typing here to stay anonymous. The surgery went well. She's watching Always Sunny. Thank you, everyone, for the advice. You know, your mom has good taste in TV. Well, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I'm out of soda. A cab includes your mind cop. It's true. Like, the thing about that aspect of our psyche, it's kind of like the inner critic. It's very critical, it's very judgmental, it's very, well, you can't do this because this will happen, and it's like, you might as well not even try to do this because this is gonna happen. It's like, that's the part of your mind you need to just be able to shh. Just turn it down a little bit. Wall of text. I feel like it fits here because we were talking emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Disregard if you want, no hard feelings. A work friend and I were discussing things. He talked about how the Black National Anthem was sung before the real national anthem before a football game last week. I asked why it bothered him. He said, "This is what's wrong with the country. They insist on creating division by wanting to do their thing instead of the normal thing." Jesus fucking Christ. Like, brother, it's a song before a fucking football game. Like, you think that's the real problem? Like, what about homelessness? What about all of the mass shootings? There's way bigger problems. There's way bigger problems. Like, the whole thing is like, you have to admit it's all like very performative, right? It's like, it's kind of like performative activism. Does having a second national anthem do anything to help anybody anywhere? No. No, it does not. It doesn't do anything. And so it's performative activism, and that's why it feels disingenuous, and that's why your coworker's like, why are they doing all this? I said I had no idea this had happened and my life was not affected 1 degree to the left or right of its path. I only knew about it because he was telling me because he was bothered. Imagine being so privileged that this is what bothers you instead of actual problems bothering you. Like, when people talk about privilege, this is what they mean. Like, oh, so this is what you get worked up about? This is what frustrates you? Not, anything that actually matters? Wealth inequality? Unaffordable healthcare? People not being able to retire or buy a home? Like, none of that stuff bothers you, but like, they sung another song at the football game. Why are they always doing this? The perceived division was only in his mind. Then I pointed out that he was probably bothered by the fact that those people just didn't want to do what he himself thought was right, and that the difference was where he got upset. Then I just kind of let it cook a bit to see if he figured out that I was calling him out for being a bit racist instead of what would Jesus do, but like he talks about a lot. Am I missing a point here, being blind to some nefarious plot to change the national anthem or divide the country? No. Because the actual plot to divide the country is happening outside of national football games. But for somebody whose whole life is work, beer, football, then yeah, it feels like a pressing issue. This just really speaks to how small your coworker's world is. It's like getting upset because you see a TV commercial and it's got somebody who doesn't look like you in it. Like, oh, oh, oh. I don't want to be deliberately obtuse, rather open to his feelings, maybe try to steer him to some self-awareness. Then politely remind him what the real issues are. Anyway, I can't imagine having such... You get a clear insight into how small some people's worldviews are when this is the type of stuff that they get all riled up about. Like, they sang another song at the football game. They didn't even not sing the song that you were expecting. They just sang an extra song. Like, who cares? Anyway, when it comes to talking with these types of people, you want to try to find ways to bring it back to real-world issues that they can identify with and relate to. Because if this is the type of stuff that we're getting riled up about and upset over, we're really working in the wrong direction. Honestly, that was hardly a wall of text. You saw the other ones we read earlier. Oh boy. I guess when it comes to people who just don't see the bigger picture, all you can do is try to help them see the bigger picture. You need to be patient with them because, they're learning. But yeah, that is a pretty privileged take for that to be something that you get so riled up and butthurt over. How do I improve focus with schizophrenia? The disorganized thinking is hard to notice for me, but I get called out for it a few times. And listening to people with auditory hallucinations is hard on its own. Thank you. Now, I would encourage you to talk with your doctor about that symptom that you're dealing with and see if there's... Because different medications for schizophrenia tend to be better at addressing different types of symptoms, and so I would let them know that disorganized thinking is the symptom that you're having the most trouble with, and maybe they can find something that helps you to manage that more effectively. That's the Western perspective. I thought medications didn't exist for negative symptoms. They do. They do. Varying degrees of effectiveness. Where I find that things get interesting is when you look at Eastern psychology and see how it deals with these types of situations, because it's a lot different from how we address it in the West. But I'll leave you to it. Found some interesting things in studying different philosophies and approaches to psychosis and mental illness. Black National Anthem football guy. It reminded me of this video.
My TikTok isn't getting a lot of likes. What? My TikTok. Russia has been publicly threatening the use of nuclear weapons on Ukraine. Okay. And in turn, NATO is also publicly threatening the use of a physical response. China is prepping to invade Taiwan. The US is beginning to cut ties with Saudi Arabia and in turn is now threatening the United States. Russia has been constantly performing cyber attacks against the US government. North Korea is performing missile tests over Japan. China and Russia are stockpiling gold to create a global currency that could be capable of crippling the US economy. The Euphrates River has dried up, which is biblically the sign of the end of days. China's emitting more CO2 than the entire Western Hemisphere. Biden barely knows he's the president of the United States. Underwater European gas pipelines are mysteriously getting blown up, and Russia's nuclear doomsday weapon submarine is missing from its harbor. And you have the audacity to tell me that your TikTok isn't doing as well as you'd like it to? I mean, it's not. My TikTok isn't getting...
Yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels sometimes. Did you hear that the chili cheese burrito is back at Taco Bell? They also brought back the Cool Ranch tacos. I thought about getting some Taco Bell because I saw they were bringing back some items, and then I saw the prices and I was like, I'm not so sure. Like, okay, $3 for a single taco, for the Cool Ranch Doritos taco. If you want them to put sour cream and tomato on it, it's gonna cost an extra $1. $4? This makes me want to get out there. This makes me want to take it to the streets. Brought back the chili cheese burrito. It's probably just as bad as I remember it being. How do I get to the boxes? I want to make a box. The way to go at Taco Bell is to get the boxes. That's how you get the better deals. What can I get for $10? Choose your specialty. Chalupa Supreme, Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Crunchwrap Supreme has not been good in a long time. $12 for 3 crunchy tacos and a soda? We used to have it good, didn't we? Look at what they've taken from us. Choose my pickup method? Yeah, I'm gonna go to Lansing, Michigan to pick up my tacos. I wish Crunchwrap Supremes actually looked like they do in the picture. They always come out looking like this. This one looks like it was made at home, but they at least put the same amount of beef that you get on an actual Crunchwrap Supreme, which is kind of funny. Don't get me wrong, I love the Crunchwrap Supreme conceptually. I think that they're very tasty and you can make them at home, but I think that the ones that you get at Taco Bell are just sad and disappointing now. I had to give it up on the Crunchwrap Supreme. The last few times I tried it from Taco Bell, it was just not good. 3 strikes and you're out, brother. Funny how I clicked on this channel to explore depth topics and the discussion is Taco Bell. There's wisdom in the power of the absurd. You know, you're right. You're right. I agree. Sometimes we like to shift things around. Sometimes we like to switch it up a little bit. We can talk about some pretty heavy topics, and And then sometimes we like to talk about stuff that's just silly. All this deep introspection has left me hungry. Kind of makes me want to go to Taco Bell. I downloaded this app, The Focus Friend. Time to get to knitting. Talk about Baja Blast Midnight. I tried it, and I don't think it was as good as the OG. There's just something about OG Baja Blast. From the color to the taste. Just makes my monkey brain go, ooh. Just look at that color. Just look at that color. It was scientifically designed to pair exquisitely with Taco Bell food. I believe it. Because it does. They cooked that shit up in a lab. You bet they did. You bet they did. That's why when I go out river rafting, I like to take Gatorade. I want the best hydration that science can give me. This brings up an interesting topic, the topic of hyperpalatability. In America, we love hyper-palatable food. A combination of high fat, sugar, sodium, and/or carbohydrates. It triggers the brain's reward system and it makes you want to eat a lot. You can see here is a picture of a cheeseburger. The next time you're out driving around, if you live in America, just try to pay attention to how many pictures of cheeseburgers you see. They're all over the place. You would think, like if I were an alien and I came to planet Earth and I saw all the cheeseburgers everywhere, I'd be like, huh, do they worship it? Like, what is this thing? Am I in the land of the cheeseburger? Is this their national symbol? Anyway, the next time you go out, just be mindful of how many pictures you see of cheeseburgers. They're all over the place. Rather eat pizza? Not a bad choice. But there is something special about a good cheeseburger. I'm hungry, thanks. Hey, me too, you're welcome. How do I stop being scared of making changes? By learning to be scared of staying the same. The human brain has an innate fear of the unknown, and so we tend to fear changes, even if they're good changes. We would rather take something that is familiar over something that could be better because we don't like the unknown. We don't like changes. What I've found to be helpful is to realize that as scary as changes might be, stagnation is scarier. Too scared to move away from my abusive mother, and I will once I have a sufficient money, but I'm too scared. I have no friends and no support, and I'm scared of the outside world and trying to survive alone. Do you think that being away from her will make it easier to meet new people and to start making new friends and finding new supports? Once things start getting better, it might surprise you just how good things can actually be. Cork Charm, thank you for the 27 months. I don't think it will, really. I'm just bad at social interactions in general. I went to university and I couldn't make friends, then convinced myself in my head that everyone there hated me and had panic attacks and just ran back home. If you're not good at social interactions, how do you get better at social interactions? It's a skill that you can practice, so how do you get better at it? You know, we might have had moments where we failed. That does not mean that we are a failure. The only way that we're actually a failure is if we give up on ourselves. Talking to people is scary. What if you have nothing interesting to say? Then show interest. You don't have to be interesting, you can show interest. There's a lot more that goes into communicating than just showing people how cool and funny you are. Being a good listener, for example. Bad listener. Just another skill to practice. How are you at juggling? Can you juggle 3 balls in the air? Or are you not a good juggler? I'm not a good juggler. But if I took the time, and if I practiced, then I could learn how to juggle. Same goes for anything else. Holding a conversation, listening, asking for help. These are all skills. These are all things that you can improve on. So just don't do yourself the disservice of writing yourself off before you've even really taken a chance to try. Because what we're trying to avoid here is a self-fulfilling prophecy. My life sucks and I'm miserable and therefore everything is going to be terrible forever. We have to break free from that belief. We have to believe that things can get better. We have to believe that life is worth living. We don't want to rush to write the end of our story before we get there. Brother recently told me he wants to borrow money from me once I have it because he expects me to die soon and doesn't want to return it. I earlier confided in him about my suicidal tendencies and I don't even know what to think about myself anymore. What he said to you doesn't say anything about you, that just says the type of person that he is. That's just a reflection of who he is. That doesn't say anything about you. That just says how he views other people. So as hurtful as that is, try not to take it personally. There's a lot of people out there who are going to say a lot of fucked up, hurtful stuff to us, and we don't have to always believe them or take what they say as true. Well, he used to care about me and protect me. That's your turn to do that, it sounds like. It sounds like it's your turn to care about yourself and protect yourself. And that's going to involve recognizing who actually has my back, who actually cares about me, who wants to see me doing well. Nobody? Then start with the person in the mirror. Anyway. I'm toast. That's gonna be it for me today. I'm out of it. I'm gonna go back to mentally processing all of the insane bullshit that's going on in the world right now. So that's what I'm gonna go do. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Try to enjoy yourself. We're gonna do a movie in the Discord later, around 8 o'clock. Not sure what movie yet, but we'll find something. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. I will see you all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.